okay to keep your mouth shut, actually. Life will life you. Being open to growth alone is growth. In order to become that person that you want to be, you need to connect with the person that you used to be. You don't have to lie, but you don't have to tell.
Sun is shining, but the rain is welcome too. Friends are nearby, don't need another feel. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you.
Hey guys, I'm Ro and welcome to my channel. This is a self-development, travel and lifestyle vlog. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Do not forget to subscribe, like and share this video. I'm sure you'll have so much fun here. So let's get right into the video. This video is giving serious vibe and I don't exactly want that, but let's just get right into it. I'll be turning 30 soon. I think that is crazy because I remember when I was 16 and I was just trying to figure out life. Crazy to say the least. So I feel like I've had my fair share of life and I just thought, why not share with my fam? Because I remember my first video I mentioned that I wanted to, how old was I think I was like 17, 18. My first video I mentioned that I wanted to, you know, share my growth with you guys, and this is one of the ways that I feel like I can do it, which is perfect. So yes, I'll be sharing 10 things that I've learned, 10 things I've learned in this 20 something years of living. So I'll probably title this video 10 things I've learned in my 20s or something like that. I don't know, but you guys will see. Let's just get right into it. I feel like life just passes you by and one day you just realize that I'm not getting any younger. I'm almost 30 and I feel like I've had my fair share of life, and I just thought, you know, why not share it with you guys. So I'll be sharing 10 things that I have learned in this my short time here on earth. So I hope you guys learn. For the younger ones, I hope you guys pick something, and for those that have, you know, experienced similar things, let me know down in the comment section, because I'm sure that I'm not experiencing these things alone. The first thing that I learned is that whatever it is that you think you're going through, trust me, somebody else is going through it, or somebody else has gone through it. You're not the only one. Like, even the best of people, even the people that we see that are successful, they don't have it figured out. That thing you're going through, somebody has gone through it, or is probably even still going through it, and you just probably would not know. But my sister, I'm here to tell you, my brother, I'm here to tell you that it is a lie. You're not the only one going through it. I think it's a lot better now because people are coming out to, you know, be a lot more open about their mental health, about their challenges and about their fears, and we can somehow relate to those things. So I feel like it's really cool now knowing that, you know, people don't have it figured out. And that brings me to my second point: do not compare yourself to others. I know it's easy to say, oh, I'm my own competition, I only look at my growth, but we know the truth. By the time you go on the gram and you're seeing the girls enjoying their life, popping bottles, holding bundles, popping bottles, holding bundles, did you guys catch that? By the time you see people doing these things or doing the things that you know you love to do, going for, like people getting married, let's not even get into that, because I'm at that age where everybody's getting married and I'm like, yeah, oh, we're there, like that kind of thing. I still cannot wrap my head around it. It's easier said than done, right? You're going on the gram, you're seeing all these things, and you can't help but like reflect back to yourself and say, oh, okay, this person seems like this person is doing so well. Why am I not doing? But the truth is, even those people you're looking at, they do not have it figured out. They are swinging it. They have their own challenges, and you just might not be able to wrap your head around it when they tell you these things, because you just cannot understand how they're able to carry themselves so well. So my love, whatever you're going through, somebody else is going through it, and do not compare yourself to other people, because you never can tell what they are going through. It might even be a lot worse than you, but it's just cute on the gram. Yours is just not as cute as, so you need to work on that if it's important to you. So yeah, those are 2 things that I have learned in my 20s and I'm taking on with me to my 30s. This sounds so weird. This sounds so weird. Let's get into number 3. Another thing that I learned in my 20s is that fear is an illusion. We hear it every time. Fear is not real. Fear is the root cause of anxiety is still fear. The reason why you're not doing that thing that you want to do is because of fear. Everybody experiences that. But what I've come to the realization of is that fear was put there to protect us. And because it was put there to protect us, it shouldn't now be the king over our emotions or our actions. It should be used as a tool instead of the binocular or as the lens through which we live our lives. Fear is something that would always be there. You will still feel it, but the cocoa is that you have to go through it. You have to have faith in yourself and have faith in that thing that you believe in or that thing that you want to. In fact, you don't even need so much faith. They said if your faith be as small as a mustard seed, you can tell the mountain to go and it will go. So you just need that little bit of faith that this is what I want to do for now. This is how I want to do it. And trust yourself regardless of that fear. Fear should be a tool and not the lens in which we live our lives. Say that after me. Fear is a tool, not the lens in which we should live our life or base our life out of. Everybody will experience it, but doing the things that you want to do regardless of is where your superpower comes in. A lot of people you are seeing, I told you not to compare, they are going through that fear, but what they are doing is pushing through or doing those things that they want to do regardless of the fear that they feel. The thing is with fear, if you don't push it aside and focus on what you want to do, you'll be stuck in your comfort zone. And I've realized that that's the worst place that you can ever be. If you're in your comfort zone, at some point you will get tired of being in your comfort zone, but you won't be able to leave because now you've taken in so much fear. It's like doing drugs. You've taken in so much that it's difficult for you to come out of. It takes like an external force. It takes everything possible to now take you out of it. So please, let's not glorify fear. Rather, let's use it as a tool to, caution ourselves. Oh, what's the worst that could happen? You understand the worst that could happen, but we'll still go through with it regardless. So I feel like that's a very good one. Another thing that I learned in my 20s is to be your own best friend. I feel like we can spend 24 hours talking about this because it is very important. By the time you get into adulthood, you realize that the person that you have is yourself. That's the only person that you have. If you are lucky enough, you have like an amazing partner. If you are lucky enough, you have like good siblings, good friends. Like, be grateful if you have that. But for a lot of people, even with that, you need to have a healthy relationship with yourself first. And that's one thing I've learned, that as you're growing, you will need to have a relationship with yourself. You will need to be your own best friend, and I will make a whole different video about it, so you guys should just watch out for this on how to be your own best friend. You will need to be able to spend time with yourself, figure out who you are, spend time with people, figure out how you relate with people. That sometimes I talk to people and I'm like, I don't like the way I spoke. Okay, so how can I work towards it? I know that it will not be an instant change, but how do I work towards the way I spoke to that person? I don't like the way I reacted. I don't like the fact that I shared too much. Let's never talk about that. And I just go back and I just, reevaluate certain things. You will need to spend a lot of time alone. Want to work on yourself and be that version of yourself that you're so proud of. It's super important. You need to take time to, reconnect with yourself. And funny how one thing I realized was that you would need to connect with your inner child to be able to stand firm in the person that you are now. So it's not like, oh, I'm being a child again. You need to have that connection on who you were, like the core of your being. Who was I? Then now balance it with the things that you've learned and the person that you want to be. So in order to become that person that you want to be, you need to connect with the person that you used to be, that pure version of yourself. You can't find that out if you are constantly with people. You can't find that out if you're constantly talking to people and yapping your mouth. You can't exactly connect with yourself if you don't take time alone. So you need to take time alone to be your best friend. Create boundaries. You don't have to lie, but you don't have to tell. You don't have to lie, but you don't have to tell. You don't have to lie, but you don't have to share. It's okay to say, I don't want to tell you. It's okay to say, I don't think that is your business. That's a little bit on the harsh side, but you get what I'm saying. It's okay to be honest, and it's okay to keep your mouth shut, actually. Basically, create boundaries, healthy boundaries. And there's no way you can create healthy boundaries if you don't connect with yourself, if you don't take that time alone. Your relationships will be a mess. A lot of the times I break my boundaries in order to be able to make people feel a lot more comfortable with me. I've learned from it. It shouldn't be done that way. People would not be able to they won't be able to understand it. So you create boundaries with people, even if it's your family members. If you're not ready to share, you're not ready to share. If I don't want to let you in, I don't want to let you in. Like, it's that simple. It's that simple. The person that you want to be will sort of direct you in the kind of boundaries that you should create. It's just healthier. Like, you have healthy relationships with the right people, because that's when you're able to divide the sheep from the chaff. I need to get these things right. That's why you're able to differentiate and discern, because knowing your boundaries, when people come in, they want to break that thing. So you're like, no, this is who I am. And if they can't deal with it, out of the kitchen. Basically, people that care about you would respect your boundaries. So in connecting with yourself, you are self-creating like boundaries, and in creating boundaries, you're creating healthy relationships as well. You see how that connects. That takes me to the next lesson that I've learned. Connect yourself with the right people. Connect yourself with the people that genuinely care about you. Intention is very key in relationships. Ensure that this person's intention towards you is not shaky, if I could put it that way. Ensure that this person's intention towards you is right. So even when they act a certain way, you can sort of understand where they are coming from. Just surround yourself with people that genuinely care about you and respect your boundaries. I feel like that's like a good foundation for like good relationships, not just like romantic. I always have to emphasize, not just romantic relationship with friends, family, and then your partner. And lest I forget, you should respect your own boundaries. As you are setting your boundaries and ensuring that people respect those boundaries, you should also respect it. Do not cross the line that you've made with yourself, because once you start doing that, you are literally breaking yourself and telling other people that, oh, okay, I'm creating boundaries, but it's okay to, like, you know, not respect it, because you yourself, you're not respecting your boundaries. You get, then respect other people's boundaries. Like, I just have to chip that in. Respect other people's boundaries. That's something that I've also learned. When they say no, it's a no. When they say yes, in fact, it could be a no. But just basically respect people's boundaries as well. Another major lesson that I learned in my 20s is that growth is not always obvious. Like, I could scream this at the top of a mountain. Growth is not always obvious. What I figured is that it starts from within. For you to say that you are growing genuinely, not like, oh, making money, and I'm talking about growth, like growth in every ramification. It needs to start from the inside. You will notice that something is changing. You will be able to feel that something is changing. And people might not be able to see it outside, because you're probably still talking the same way, you're probably still acting the same way, and you in your mind, you know that, oh, I'm being more receptive to this kind of thing, I'm being more reactive to this kind of thing. Oh, that thing I said, oh, that thing is said, oh, this thing, it's happening in your head, but you're probably just being the same way. Growth is not always obvious. Let me give another example. Imagine your weight, you're trying to lose weight and you're doing everything, and in 2 weeks you're not seeing any changes. So what do? Oh, this thing is not working. You now go back to where you're coming. I am on this table with my full chest. Growth is not always something that you can see. It starts from within. If people can't see it, it's fine. If people don't see it, it's fine. It doesn't even matter if they don't. The cocoa is that. Is that I switch from it's fine to the cocoa is that. The cocoa is that you can feel the change. You can see that your mentality is changing. And honestly, that's something book does to you. Reading books changes your mentality. It changes the way you talk. Yeah, it changes the way you talk, because your vocabulary gets better. You're being open to growth. Being open to growth alone is growth. Like, how do I... These things that if we want to sit down and talk about it, it will take a long time. But just know that growth is not always obvious. It's not always like this. It could be like this. It doesn't have to be fast action. It is a process. It is progressive, no matter how slow it's getting. Sometimes your growth is even like this. Like, you have to come back down, you get, to now grow again. So it's not like you're starting again. It's a new beginning, like, but with the previous lessons. So I feel like growth is something that we could talk about from now till tomorrow. And this takes me to my next point. It's okay to plan and replan. It's okay to strategize and re-strategize, because I figured that when it comes to growth, we think that, oh, once I start growing and my mentality start changing, or once I start feeling the urge to, become a better person, or maybe I'm even taking steps to become a better person, that it will always continue to go like that. Sometimes you get that light bulb and you're like, yes, I now know what I'm supposed to do. I now understand this thing. Oh yes, this is what I'm going to do. And the next minute, it's not working out. It's not working out, and you're like, but I had it figured out. I had it figured out yesterday. I worked towards it. I did what I'm supposed to do. I did everything right. Why is it not working? My brother, my sister, it is called life. That's something I figured. Life will life you. It's called life. So once that happens, you go back to your drawing board. You go back to your vision board. You go back, carry that paper and carry that biro. I don't care how many times you have to do it in a week. I don't care how many times you have to do it in a month. I don't care how many times you have to do it in a year. I don't care how many times you have to redo that, your digital vision board on Canva. I don't care how many times you need to carry your biro and your paper to rewrite those things. My sister, my brother, you would have to do it. And don't feel bad about it. Yes, it can be a little bit depressing. It can just bring you down a little bit. But be okay with planning and replanning. It means that you've learned something. It's not necessarily that I've learned what I should now do. It might have been, oh, I've learned what I should not do. Okay, now this is what I shouldn't do. Now let's move on from that. It's so crazy that this life is a continuous process. You don't just get there and you say, oh yes, I've gotten there, now I can cross my leg and chill. No, it's a process till you die. Like, there's literally no destination. It's more of, you keep creating destinations, right? You keep creating destinations, but there's no, okay, final destination, it probably is death or heaven, let's say final destination, heaven. But in life on earth, there's no destination per se. There are destinations rather, but no destination, if you get that. I feel like I'm preaching. There's no destination, but there are destinations in life. So it's always a journey. It's always a journey. And by the time you understand this, you give yourself some certain grace. You will give yourself some certain breather. You'll be able to understand that, okay, I don't reach the point where now to plan again. You get? And that is how growth takes place. That's why I said growth is not obvious, because these things you are doing, you are leaving a particular point and getting to another point. You might not be able to see it until you now get to one particular destination and you now figure out, how did I get here? I was really struggling all the way. But you've been moving. You've been moving, literally. I feel like I'm preaching. I'm feeling it come out. I'm feeling it come out. Anyways, let's get into the next point. It's okay for your perspective to change. That thing that you thought made sense before, it can be 5 years time. In fact, it can be 6 months time, 2 months time, a month time. In fact, in split seconds, you realize that it's probably not okay to do. Your perspective can change. Your mindset about things can change, and it is perfectly okay. This is difficult because I feel like a lot of us are stubborn. We want to say, oh, I said this is how I feel about the situation, so it will not make sense because I've announced it probably on the internet or to my friends, and they feel like this is my strong belief, so I cannot now come and be changing my mind about it. My sister, my brother, if you figure that thing that you thought did not make sense, that mentality that you have is not making sense, whenever you figure it out, the right thing to do is to accept it and move from it. Yes, people are not as forgiving as, people are not as accepting as we would expect them to be, but you need to be able to do that for yourself. I felt like, oh, buying designers is a waste of money. And 2 years down the line, you have plenty of money and you're buying designers. My love, it's fine. Just so you understand what I'm saying. And never say it can't be you. I remember one time I did something and I shared it to a friend at that time, and she was being very judgmental. She sent me a message, she sent me a voice note, and she was just advising me, and I was like, ha, shame me or she any Zoro. See, bye. Permit my Yoruba. 2 years down the line, she comes to me and she says, that thing that you said happened, is happening to me right now. La, 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 la. And at that point, it was more of a realization for me that it could be you. The roles could have been reversed. She could have come to me and I would have said, nah, girl, don't do da, don't do da. And it could be my turn tomorrow and I'm there. So never say it can't be me. It won't be me. God forbid, it can never be me. And this is like the negative part, but I'm talking about both the negative and the positive. It's okay to say my mind has shifted from this person that I used to be or this perspective to this perspective. People might not forget, they might not let you breathe. And Shebi, you said, you are seeing the light and you decided to stick with the light. That's the most important thing ever. So don't let anybody shame you for changing your mind about certain things or rebranding yourself in the best way. Best, in quotes, in the best way. Don't let anybody shame you about it. It's totally fine. In all honesty, I don't know how many tips I've given you guys, and that will bring me to my last lesson for this video. If you are interested in me sharing more of this, just let me know down in this comment section and I'll come through for you. Like, I won't even think twice about it. The last thing is, always do life with God. One thing I figured is that just hold on to God, because this life will life you so much, and in our human capacity we might not be able to go through with it. But there's so many times I've seen that I'm down and probably like a worship song just comes on and I'm just singing, and that hope is fired up, that ginger, that motivation, that, you know, that dark cloud just vanishes. It's so important to like just hold on to God in everything that you do. I feel like that's like the paramount thing. You can't even know yourself as much as if you don't know God. Yes, you might spend time with yourself, do everything that would say you should do, and you feel like, yeah, I have a good relationship with myself. But you could have a deeper relationship with yourself if you have a closer relationship with God. Everything can now connect to this particular thing, because when it now comes to your relationship and surrounding yourself with the right people, when respecting your boundaries, creating your boundaries, fear, everything, it's just easier. It's just easier to navigate. It's easier to make decisions. So yeah, have like a close relationship with God. Do life with God, and it's just be a lot more easier. Because the truth is, as hard as we say all of us are experiencing, some people have it easier, and that's the truth. So if I can have it easier, why not? All the steps to make it a lot more easier for you, but holding on to God makes it so much more simpler. Excuse me, sir, you are in charge. I cannot come and go and die. I feel this thing, I give it to you. Especially things that we cannot control, especially things that we cannot, we cannot exactly do something about. Just having that mind that, excuse me, sir, it's in your hands. You say I should cast all my fears, it's in your hands. You say I should put my burdens on you, I'm giving you, because me, I can't do it. Basically, and you move on with the things that you know that you have control over. The rest of the things, leave it with God and just watch it work out. Have you not prayed prayers where you're like, God, I want the right people around me, and before you know it, you can't, because you cannot see, because you care about these people so much, because you love these people so much, you cannot see what they are doing, you cannot see it, and before you know, those scales in your eyes are starting to come off. Those people are starting to move madder because of that prayer that you prayed. You see? So just have a relationship with God. Ensure to like, subscribe, and share these videos. Let me know down in the comment section videos that you like to see from me, and I'll be willing and happy to share as the open book that I am. We don't gatekeep over here. And if there's anything that you know that you've learned in the few years of your life, you could also like put it down in the comment section for someone to learn. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video.
Oh, I love it.